In this video, I'm going to tell you how I lost my two fishing rods to the bottom of the ocean and retrieved them. I was out on an early morning kayak fishing trip, and I had used the lure to troll it behind my kayak, and right at the start of my fishing trip, I caught a rope that was attached to a small boat, and unfortunately I must have had the drag on too tight. It basically knocked off my two fishing rods because it tipped over my kayak fishing crate. And they fell into the ocean. I saw them fall. I wasn't sure if a fish had taken them. But anyways, I was so stunned and a little shocked. I ended up paddling for a few minutes. And what I did was I found my lure floating in the ocean next to the rope. So I dove into the ocean. I pulled in the lure with the line attached to it. I was able to retrieve one of my fishing rods. I unfortunately don't have film of that. But my second fishing rod was still at the bottom of the ocean. I didn't have any glasses, I couldn't see anything, but I knew it was in the area. So I came back on my kayak with a wetsuit, a mask, and a snorkel. Luckily, I found two kayakers out on their paddle, and I asked them to help me out. Their names were Glenn and Barbara. Thank you, Glenn and Barbara. I asked them to just hang around in the area and help hold my kayak while I jumped into the water to find the fishing rod. I knew it was going to be pretty easy because I was in about 10 or 15 feet of water, so it wasn't that deep. But I just needed someone to be around in case something happened. So I jumped right in the water, and within less than a minute or so, I found my fishing rod there in the bottom of the ocean next to the rocks and the seaweed. I tried to dive for it and grab it, but unfortunately it was just too deep. The wetsuit that I had on was a 5mm wetsuit that I use for surfing, and it had so much buoyancy that I wasn't able to dive to the bottom of the ocean. So what I did was I used my paddle to retrieve the fishing rod by basically propping it up on the end of the paddle and slowly lifting it up and then grabbing it. So thanks a lot to the help of Glenn and Barbara for helping me retrieve my fishing rod. This is the way I did it. I used a wetsuit, a snorkel, and a paddle to find it in the bottom of the ocean, and the paddle was helpful in reaching down because I didn't have the buoyancy. Has this ever happened to you? How did you retrieve your fishing rod when it fell to the bottom of the ocean? Leave me some comments in the comments section. I'd love to hear from you. How to avoid this? I guess the next time I'm going to try to make sure that my drag is loose enough that if I catch something, whether it's a rock, a seaweed, or a rope, or a fish, that the drag will engage before my fishing rod won't land in the ocean. I'll also try to use the scupper holes in my kayak more than the kayak fishing crate. I found that the bungee cords that I've been using to lock in my kayak fishing crates have gotten loose over time. So whenever I end up catching a fish or catching the bottom of the ocean, it's been tipping over, and I run the risk of losing my fishing rods. So for now on, I'm going to keep the drag a little bit looser and use my scupper holes, which are a lot more secure for holding my fishing rods. Thanks for watching. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please click like, comment, or subscribe. I'd love to hear your stories of how you lost your fishing rod and how you reclaimed it. Thanks.